and we're back. Hey, we're going to bounce. Now we're not leaving. We're going to bounce tracks on the Tascam DP-008EX. And basically what this does is it gives you more tracks to record on. So let's say you recorded something like an, I don't know, for instance, a 8-part harmony on every channel. Oh, he has a lovely singing voice. That's terrible, but all I was doing was just trying to take up all the channels. So I took up all the channels and sang an 8-part harmony. All right, so I want to free up some tracks. So what you do is you go into bounce mode. So I'm already in it, but let me just show you right there. It's bounce mode. Okay, so we're in bounce mode. You just go into bounce, mix down mastering, toggle down to bounce, and hit execute, which I've already done. All right, so we're out of there. Now, if you look up here, we're in bounce mode. Simple. It's not much to it. This is just recording, basically. You're re-recording tracks that you already recorded, but you're moving them to a different place so you can free up the tracks that you used. So let's say I want all of them. I want all 8. You can do that. On a tape machine, you wouldn't be able to do that. The track that you were recording to would get erased while you recorded over it. But on this machine, since it is a little bit of a computer, you can do all 8, and you can keep the place where your destination lies. So there's a track on here that I've recorded, that's or whatever. I can keep that, or I can turn it off if I want. You can just do your usual mixing process and turn that completely down if you don't like that one track. But in this case, we'll go ahead and keep them all. So what'll happen is when you press record and play, you will record all the tracks into track strip 1. That's really all there is to it. So when you're done, all these tracks are going to be on that one, mixed whatever way you mixed them, and they will stay in that mixture, so later on you're not going to be able to go back and say, Timmy over here, isn't loud enough, we want to turn him up. It's too bad, he's where he is. You can keep all your tracks though by backing them up as usual, and if you needed to, go back and remix all that. Stereo. Pan everybody so they're left and right if you want a stereo image, and go into arming 2 tracks. Now, whoever is on the left will be on track 1, who's ever on the right will be on track 2. So you can have a stereo image also, if you want. And then you free up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you've got 6 more tracks to record on. But if you do a mono track, so you take every single track on here and put them all on one, then you'll have 7 more tracks. That's 15 tracks total. And let's do it that way. So we're going to take all these. One thing you're going to notice is once you bounce all these tracks down to 1, when you play it back or record later, these are all still going to be on there. It doesn't erase them. It leaves them on there, and you can record over them. So there's another option. If you start seeing as you're making tracks, I'm listening back to this and such is down. Well, as long as you haven't already recorded over them, there is still an option to adjust him in, and you can put it back in. But really what it's doing is it's just making sure that you keep all your other stuff and putting it all on 1 track or 2 tracks if you decide to go stereo. And that's probably what you would normally do. You might want an image, but just for the sake of demonstration purposes, I will bounce all these tracks down to 1, and then I can re-record over these 7. So let's do that. So the best thing to do is give it a run through, and make sure that everything is adjusted where you like it. If you want reverb on everybody or whatever, and you go ahead and do that, and get them all set up, panned the way you want them. So hit record and play.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so let's check it out. Turn everybody down, because you're still going to hear these if you leave them up. But we just want to make sure that we're not going to just hear Simple Joe on 1. We want to hear everybody back to 0, and let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And there you go. Heavenly Choir. All right, so they've all been bounced down to 1. Now I can record over these. But like I was saying, let's play it back. You'll see. See, these guys are all still here. I don't know, you're sick of hearing that, so I won't do that again. But anyways, just as a demonstration, and so it shows you the tracks are still there, but you can now record over them. But once you record over them, you haven't really lost them. They're all on track 1 or track 1 and 2. That's really what bouncing is. And that's it. Wait just a minute there. I know there's at least one of you, Les, out there who wants to know, can we go on an infinite regress here? Can we continue to bounce tracks to more channels? So let's say we just bounced all 8 to 1. Now the remaining 7, can we record 7 tracks on that and then bounce those 7 to, say, track 2, and so on and so on? Yes, you can. The only thing you want to make sure of is, let's say you're going to bounce, like you bounced all these to 1, and you now recorded 7 new tracks, and you want to bounce all 7 of those to 2. You can do that, but just make sure when you do it that you keep 1 turned down, because that's your original bounce. You don't want it in the mix. Remember, this is part of a mix when you record these. You can dial someone out, but it doesn't delete them. That's a cool thing about bouncing. You're not really deleting. You're recording over on one. You can keep certain ones, just don't include them. And when you bounce to a destination, that's really all you're re-recording. The rest all stay the same. So I did an 8-part harmony on here, and let's say I did a string quartet over here on 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can then bounce 2, 3, 4, and 5 down to 2 and keep this one. I just turn everything else down. So say the string quartet's on here, it's not. I didn't do that. But let's just say I did, and then I wanted to bounce. So if I'm in bounce mode, which I am, I just would arm 2. And then adjust these accordingly, mix them to your taste and pan or whatever. But panning isn't going to work on this. You could, though. You could say, all right, let's do it on these 2 and take the string quartet and pan them back and forth and do a stereo pair. You could do that, and then you still got all these guys for later. But it can get pretty crazy. You better start writing stuff down. You're going to get confused. But you can, yes, you can continually until, man, you could have like 5 symphony orchestras on here if you really wanted to. Now they would all be panned down, or they would all be pared down to 1 or 2 channels, but you could still go completely crazy, and you probably would if you tried that. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there. You can keep doing this, but just always remember that when you do go to do another bounce, to make sure what you've already bounced is turned down in the mix when you record, and then it'll stay there, and then eventually you'll fill everything up and then mix and master it down to a gigantic cacophony. Anyways, just want to throw that in there. All right, see you guys.